Did I scare you? We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Rufino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. If you're watching us, you're not listening to us on the audio podcast platform. I'm sorry if you cannot see us, but I do have my son, Ben, who's starting the show with us. What's up, Ben? Say hey. Fresh as I return, baby. Gator boots with my pimped out Gucci shoes. Ain't got no job, but I stay fly. Can't pay my rent because all the money's spent. All right. He wanted to join the show. So good morning, all. Welcome into Are You Serious Sports on this beautiful Saturday morning. Hope to get a lot accomplished with you today. If you are on Facebook, somebody has reported us for publishing too much content. Let me just say this off the top. If you're going to report us, why don't you come to my DMs and report us there? So we're not able to share to Facebook groups because of, we have to wait so long or whatever. I don't know. So if you're on Facebook, everybody do us a favor. Please, 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 if you're on Facebook, hit the like and share button. Share to some Facebook groups. Share to your social media pages. It really helps us out for when stupid fans of other teams or wherever, jealous people, whoever, do something stupid to prohibit us to do what we do. Please do us a favor. If you're on Facebook, share it to every one of them. Real LSU Nation, Tiger Nation, whatever it may be, please do it for us. So, yeah. Jeremy Fontana says, my boy eating ice cream for breakfast. What I'm assuming is that he went to the refrigerator without us knowing and got that. Did you go to the refrigerator and get that ice cream? Yes. See? See? I mean, my man is eating ice cream for breakfast. He did have some eggs, but my man is an ice cream fiend. My grandmother, Jewel Tajan, loved ice cream and some sherbet. All right. Can Daddy do a show? Sure. Okay. You want to go in there with Mommy? Okay. Hey, I love you. Tell everybody bye-bye. Say, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Hey, close the door on your way out, too, okay? Thanks. Love you. All right. We do have a lot to get into this morning. Hopefully we're not reported on some of the things that we're talking about this morning because we got a lot of deep things to get into. LSU baseball walks it off. Jordan Thompson, the spirit animal known as Jordan Thompson, walks it off in the first game for LSU at the Shriners Classic. We will take you back to Texas and give you the sounds of what that sounded like from Jordan Thompson last night. LSU faces Texas. I stayed up and watched the Texas-Tennessee game last night. Guys, Texas is really good. And just kind of, wanted to talk about this morning, wanting to learn a little bit more about Texas and how good their baseball team is. Wanted to see more, so I stayed up and watched it. Got a little bit of a scouting report. We'll talk on that. Frank Wilson is added to the Sharon Lewis lawsuit. Thursday, I said that I wanted to get more information and then talk about it. I gave my initial thoughts and opinions on Frank Wilson and Sharon Lewis. We will talk on some things I'm hearing around this, the LSU stance around Frank Wilson and LSU in reference to the Sharon Lewis claims, and I will just give you what I'm hearing and my opinion, and we'll go from there. LSU versus Bama preview, Will Wade versus Nate Oats. Will Wade has not been able to take down Nate Oats since Nate Oats has been at the University of Alabama. Dad, ice cream. We will go we will talk about some LSU versus Alabama. Lady Tigers fall to Kentucky. Kim Mulkey goes irate on a horrible no call, which again prohibits me to come out here and talk about SEC officiating. Guys, SEC officiating is, well, let me not say it because I might get reported. We're going to have to wean everybody off of Facebook. We're going to have to all go to YouTube. But nevertheless, is a Rudy Poo. Rudy Poo's just not a bad word. Okay. And then as we do every Saturday mornings, hashtag Ask Blake. You got some questions, fire them inside the Rudy Crew chat, and then we'll get going. Let's get to a couple of these comments. Chris English says, good morning, Ben. David says, Ben is the best co-host. I agree with that. Craig Schilling says, the naked Jaybird having some Cocoa Pebbles, ? No, my man is eating some ice cream. Lieutenant Dad ice cream. So, yeah. Blakeland Terrell says Blake Jr. Man, I don't know. He acts like mama. Thank God. He acts like daddy. Thank God he looks like mama. He looks a lot like his mama. MTN said share to Facebook. Thank you. Yes, everybody please share. They're kind of doing us some Rudy Poo kind of way this morning. I would really appreciate it if all 71 of you, actually there's 80, 100 of you, please all 100 of you share on Facebook, share to some Facebook groups. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Let me do this too. All right, let's get to a couple more of these comments and then we'll pay some bills and then get started. Darren says, horns down. I agree. Steve Ryan says the breakfast of champions. Hey, look, man, he loves ice cream, dude. He loves ice cream. If he had one thing to eat for the rest of his life, it would be ice cream. There's nothing we can do about it. We can't stop it. It's kind of like the Jordan Thompson bomb in the bottom of the 11th. There's nothing you can do to stop it. All right. So we'll do this. Let's pay some bills around this thing very quickly, and then we'll get started. None better than our good friends over at GM Barno & Sons and betonline.ag. Guys, with over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Barno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. Give them a call today at 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. And tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by. Our good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, the regular season of college basketball is over after today. We start the conference tournaments, and then we'll get into the big dance. The best place to bet on all of those is BetOnline. If you're not signed up already, go there at the end of the show. Use your mobile device. Use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, BLEAV. You'll get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Again, that's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. I got some good news, too. All right, let's get this thing rolling. Let's see here. I'm just sending this to a couple people on Facebook because they're treating us like Rudy Poos. And yeah, I hadn't forgot about the NIL stuff too. We'll talk about that more Monday. Louisiana legislature. Okay. Just doing some behind the scenes admin, but I haven't forgot about the NIL stuff in reference to the state of Louisiana. So we'll talk about that. Aaron Miller says something very interesting too. Exciting day on campus with potential future Tigers. LSU is holding a junior day. We'll wait until Monday to talk more about that. Let's just see how things go. Let's see how this thing goes. Blakeland says, hey, eating ice cream for breakfast is essential. Hell yeah, it's essential, man. Craig Schilling says it was an LSU fan takeover on the Astros YouTube chat. You know, it was. I went back and watched. Or looked at the number of views for all three games. LSU blew it out of the water. Like it was the most viewed video on the Houston Astros like YouTube channel that I'd seen that they had in a long time. It was unreal. It was absolutely unreal. So we can talk about that. Look, I thought last night in the Shriners Classic, or yesterday for the Shriners Classic, it's something that I kind of wanted to see, right? Like we had talked about LSU baseball from the aspect of, look, they played some teams that are not that do not have the talent that they have. Let's see what they do when they start facing some talent. Look, LSU never gave up, ever. K. Doty with a bomb to tie it up. This team continued to battle. Blake Money continued to battle. You faced a really good pitcher, a starting pitcher in Oklahoma, and you were struggling. And then as the game went on, you continued to be locked in, and then you delivered there with Jordan Thompson there in the ninth inning. Now we're going to go back out to Houston and listen. Let's just listen to the Jordan Thompson home run and how amazing it sounded when the ball left the bat and Jordan Thompson ended the game.
That one's launched. Jordan Thompson has won the game for LSU. The shortstop unloads beyond the Crawford boxes. And at one time, down to their final out, in danger of losing. Somehow, LSU comes from 3 down and walks off the Sooners.
So that was just some of the sounds from the Shiner Classic, and Jordan Thompson completely walking it off. Big win. Now you go up against Texas today at 7 p.m. It's going to be a huge game. You're going up against the number one team in the country. Look, we talk about Texas and their football team, and Texas isn't back and all this kind of stuff. Let me tell you where they are back at. College baseball. They're really good. And to the never bunting crowd, to the guys who say, you should never bunt. Bunting's for losers. Well, Texas is about to come out here and show you that it ain't for losers. LSU's defense has struggled. And Texas is going to do everything they can to put pressure on LSU's defense. LSU's going to have to be very crisp today. They're going to have to be extremely focused. Now, do you go with Mikael Hilliard? Who do you go with? I don't know who Jay's going to go with here. I would assume he's going to go with Mikael, but he has to have told his bullpen, like, hey, guys, we got to get rolling. Now, you had to use a lot of arms yesterday. Can you bring some of those guys back? Can you use Razelman again? I don't know that. Fontenot kind of got beat around a little bit, gave up a run. And so, but bottom line is this. You're going to have to be extremely focused, and your defense is going to have to be crisp to beat Texas. Tennessee kind of kicked some balls around last night, and it ultimately is going to lose them the game. If you're not able to be a very elite defensively, Texas is going to put a lot of pressure on you. And shout out to the little Texas fan who caught the ball in foul territory to give LSU some new life against Oklahoma. Shades of the Cubs with Moises Alou. Shout out to that little Texas fan. Shout out to him. Trey Patton on Facebook says you can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. # Lynn Rollins. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Everybody on Facebook, do us a favor, hit the like and share. We need some help there. People reporting us. Do us a favor, hit that like and share. Chris English says Texas does not look like a strong team. I have to disagree there, Chris. I think that they look like a damn strong team. I think that they look like a very damn strong team. And yes, in reference to Jason says Sharon Lewis is probably the one that reported you. We're going to have to get more to YouTube. So if you're on Facebook and you want to go to YouTube, please do it. Are You Serious Sports? Go subscribe, click. We're gonna have to do that. And look, we'll try to wean people off of the Facebook stuff, but I can't keep going on like this. Every single week, it's something new, something that they said that we did wrong. Like there was a while back that they said that I did something wrong that I didn't do. Like I didn't even post that day. Actually, I was driving to the beach. You posted this. No, I didn't. Okay, thank you. Darren says, #AskBlake, Texas got a nice scouting report watching us last night. Yeah, they did. And look, I think obviously LSU got a good scouting report on them last night too. Look, and watching that game again, the game today, you're 1,000% going to have to be very crisp on defense. Texas does not strike out a lot. They're going to put in ball play. They're going to bunt. They're going to get guys on. They're going to try to get them over. They're going to try to put as much pressure on you as they can. And to the never bunting crowd, to the small ball doesn't win, they got guys that have hit 15 home runs in a season that will square that sucker up and bunt it down the line to put pressure on you. They're a very, very, very good team. A very, very, very good team. Let's see what we can do tonight at 7. Let's see. Chris said he also got reported. Yeah. Wild. Brian sends us some $5 via Super Chat. He said Southeastern beat Arkansas last night. They did. Scored 7 runs and the top of the 6th. Massive. Lion up, baby. Lion up. But they're all mad at me because I talk LSU anyway, so screw it. Screw it. Penn Jones says, go Tigers and to go Lions. Absolutely. Brandon says, great game. Team showed great resolve yesterday. I agree with that. I completely agree with it. Look, they damn. Chris English says, I'm on YouTube now, but I got banned from Facebook after sharing. Not sure if it's because of that or my comments on the Frank Wilson post. But we're not saying anything that what are we saying? What's Frank Wilson added to Sharon Lewis lawsuit? I don't know how that, I'm sorry, buddy. Chris, I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I still think we're live on Facebook. I think we are. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Look, we can talk about that very quickly too. Look, I'll give you my opinion. So if you've missed it, Frank Wilson, the new associate head coach of LSU, and running backs coach, has been added to the Sharon Lewis lawsuit. Now, what I will say is this is opinion and some sourcing. LSU did come out with a statement. If you missed it, go read what Sharon Lewis said, because I think you'll get a better gauge of what Sharon Lewis said and what she's accusing versus me coming out here and telling you. You need to go read it. You need to go look at it. But she said that some very inappropriate things happened with her when her and Frank Wilson were together in 2013. This is what I will say. Number one, I'm very skeptical of the timing of this, of this coming out. And me being skeptical is not saying that it's not true. It's not saying that I don't believe it didn't happen. What I'm saying is that I think that the timing does come into question of why this is coming out. Now, if we can't question things as a society, then I don't really know where we're going with this. But as I've come on this platform, whether it be with the Darius Geis thing, with Gloria Scott, whether it be Title IX, whether it be whatever the cases have been in reference to LSU being investigated, I have said, will continue to say, we have to let due process play out. We 1,000% have to let due process play out. If we are not able to allow due process to play out, I don't know what to tell you. I see a lot of people making claims either that Sharon Lewis is this or Frank Wilson is that. can we let due process play out? Now, my opinion is that we, and here are the facts. Like, this is not opinion when I'm about to give you. The facts are of this case that Sharon Lewis has made multiple claims. She's made the claim, and we talked about this Thursday, but she's made the claim about Title IX and cover-ups. She files a $100 million RICO lawsuit. That gets dismissed out of court. They give her the ability to come back in reference to other claims and other things that she can make in reference to I'm forgetting the word here, but regardless, the RICO case got dropped. Ed Orgeron was then brought into the case, and then he was eventually dropped from the case. Sharon Lewis, we also have a situation where we have audio tape that Gloria Scott, who accused Darius Geis of some of the same things in the Superdome, saying that she spoke with Sharon Lewis, and Sharon Lewis wants LSU to pay her money so Darius Geis can play in the bowl game. Guys, with all due respect, that's extortion. Now, again, I am not saying here's what I do believe. I do believe that there were some things that were going on that have to come into question, especially with Les Miles. Now, with Frank Wilson being brought into this case, I don't really know where this is coming from and why Frank Wilson wasn't added in the initial lawsuit. Now, I'm not saying Frank Wilson did or did not do anything. I'm not saying Sharon Lewis is or is not lying. What I'm saying is that I do believe that we have a situation here where we have multiple claims against LSU, and we don't have individual claims on individuals. What do I mean by that? Sharon Lewis is suing LSU. She's not suing Frank Wilson alone or Les Miles alone or whoever alone. She's suing the university and using these claims to back what she's trying to say. Now, there are a lot of questions I have on both sides. Frank, is this true? You know, LSU came out with a statement saying that we are unaware of this situation. Nobody knows, or it was never reported by Sharon Lewis that these kinds of events ever happen. There are more women that came out from and saying that these type of situations happen with Frank Wilson, but all of them under the same umbrella. My question would be to also journalists like Andrea Gallo and LSU Beat Tweet Glenn Gilbo, and we've had Glenn Gilbo on the show. And look, I will be honest. I have a lot of respect for Glenn Gilbo for taking the time to come on this show and debate something. Guys, that's not fun for some. Some people would deny to do that. And for that alone, I will give Glenn Gilbo credit where credit is due. And at least, even though we don't agree, he will come on here and talk about it. And we can have some kind of a civil discourse about talking about it. Now, the thing that I would ask those two individuals is when you're reporting these things in these hit pieces, where you keep saying that you have proof on these situations, but yet when they go to court, it's not presented there. At some point, from these cases alone, we're going to have to stop taking someone's word and start getting proof. Now, if it happened and Frank Wilson did it, or Frank Wilson did anything that is not right, that has to be executed on the highest form of the law. No one is debating that. No one is saying that is something that we should look over or gloss over. Hell yeah, if something went wrong, we have to do everything in our power to make sure that those things don't happen again. I don't believe that anyone is saying not to do that. But for me, it's like if someone is in this group chat or one of my buddies comes over to my house and I call the police and the police come out here and I say, hey, my good friend Bob over here punched me in the face. I want Bob arrested. And I sign a witness statement saying Bob punched me in the face. And they go and arrest Bob. But what if Bob really never struck me in the face? What if he never hit me? That's how a lot of these legal systems go. We have to stop taking people's word and also getting evidence of the case. Guys, we've spent countless amounts of times on the Title IX, Gloria Scott, the Hush Blackwell report. The reason we didn't even come out here is that we're running through things in the Hush Blackwell report. Frank Wilson's not named. All of a sudden, he's being named when it comes out and it's released. And here's what's crazy. Here's what's extremely crazy to me. If you didn't notice it, now I'll go to Wilson Alexander because this was emailed to us through LSU. The LSU Board of Supervisors just approved all the assistant coaches for LSU, the on-field assistant coaches. It just went through the Board of Supervisors, and everybody was put through. Outside of Brad Davis, who was already in contract, that they are all approved by the Board of Supervisors, Frank Wilson included. Okay, so now this past week, when Frank Wilson is approved to work at the university or Louisiana State University, now all of a sudden we have a situation where now Sharon Lewis is going to go after Frank Wilson. There are things that smell in this case. What's up, buddy? Okay, well, go get it. Okay, well, go get it, buddy. Daddy's doing a show. Go. It's not mean. Okay, Daddy's doing a show, buddy. Bye-bye. Bye. So in all of that, we have situations that we have to prove if what was right and what was wrong. Here's another thing. And something that dropped. Oh, go ahead. Bye-bye. Love you. Love you. I thought he was about to pull our camera out. Love you. He was grabbing for something. I thought he was about to grab our camera out. Let's end it with this. This is how the LSU beat and how the LSU reporters are doing this too, by the way. The LSU beat and the LSU reporters have been doing something that's a little nauseous to me. That we're never talking about. Like, there were so many things that talked about and so much pressure and PR around when Sharon Lewis sued LSU for $100 million. Maybe because it was $100 million that was in the tagline and the headline. Maybe that's what got so many people's interest. But what I'm not going to do is two things. I'm not going to debate people from other fans and other media members on this case when they don't know anything. That's number one. So to the Rudy Poo media members that are in my DMs on Twitter saying that you know something and you didn't even know that what the Hush Blackwell report is, do not come to me anymore. That's number one. But when the media is going to have to, when this comes out and is reported, and when the cases are dropped, like they have been in the past, there's no PR behind it. Nobody's talking about it. They'll write a short little report. Andrea Gallo will write a 2-paragraph column where this paragraph and everything that's being pushed out now is a very long column. And then, hey guys, by the way, it was dropped, and we don't talk about it. We never talk about it. We have to let due process play out. I have been screaming this for over a year, screaming it from the bleachers. Let due process play out. If somebody is wrong, let's go after them. If they aren't wrong, let's go after the people who's making claims on someone's reputation in life. Then what? You know, guys, like this morning, we have somebody reporting us on Facebook for publishing too much content. Publishing too much content. That's how crazy all this is. Because they don't like it. I don't care what you like. What are the facts? Like, where are we as a people? Where are we? It's one thing to have proof and then write this. It's another thing to say that you have proof. Well, where's your proof? At some point, I'm going to need to start seeing proof. So how long is this going to go on? How many times is LSU and former coaches and coaches now going to be accused of something before we start saying, please give me the proof? If you're a journalist and you're doing your journalistic integrity, or you have journalistic integrity, no, you don't. No, you don't. It fits your ideals and your beliefs. Beliefs do not care about the facts, right or wrong. They don't care. And as a society, we wonder, and I don't even know how to put this, but like if I'm wrong, people have an issue with not coming out on camera or article and saying I'm wrong. You're going to be, if you ever want to do something like this, if you want to turn on a camera, newsflash, you're gonna be wrong. Trust me, you're going to be wrong. There are things I slip up in here all the time. I am not perfect. You mean to tell me Jesus Christ couldn't hit a curveball? I lied. Here's the last point. We talk about what is Brian Kelly doing. Brian Kelly ain't going out there and talking to the media. He ain't said nothing, Blake. Where's Brian Kelly? But then yet, he's having to completely wipe out and clear out and cut the fat around the LSU football operations building because of what's been going on, and we're questioning what he's doing. Do you understand how idiotic that is? It's asinine to believe that your head coach of Louisiana State University has to come in and you're, whoa, what's he doing? What's he doing? And he's cutting the fat around LSU. And he's doing all these interviews and bringing people around his program, and you're asking him what he's doing. Guys, we've had a toxic environment around LSU, and to some extent, one of the biggest things that I will say, that even though Ed Orgeron led a toxic environment, the toxic environment was already around Ed Orgeron as a head coach. Let's not fool ourselves with that. Ed was not placed with a lot of good individuals around him from an off-the-field standpoint. Now, what the man did is his own business. What he did is what he did. Let's get away from that. Les had the same issues too. I don't care if your granddaddy's granddaddy has a building named after him at LSU. If you ain't a reason why we're winning and losing, while Dare Rosenthal and all this compliance and everything around LSU, when Dare Rosenthal's going to the NFL draft running a 4.88 and should be your starting left tackle, and because of policies that are in place that are more strict than policies at the University of Alabama, what do you think? You think Ed's got something to help him with when Alabama can get away with something while he can't? Guys, Dare Rosenthal is going to be a second-round pick, more than likely. More than likely. At least that's where I think he's going to go. Let me say, that's where I think Dare can go. I can also see him third and fourth, whatever. But you had the fastest O-lineman in the NFL draft who should have been your left tackle, the most athletic, arguably the most athletic guy in the NFL combine. I'm saying draft. The combine, you had maybe the most athletic guy at the combine from an offensive line standpoint, Now, Dare Rosenthal has his own issues and has to take some of the blame too. You keep getting suspended off of one specific thing. That is a self-control, that is a mature thing. I understand that. But like, come on. And then we're wondering about Brian Kelly while LSU's getting sued for $100 million. Somebody that he talked to and he brought in Frank Wilson, now all of a sudden is in a lawsuit. I did not want to make this whole episode about the Frank Wilson lawsuit type, lawsuit thing, whatever. But you want to talk about what the toxicity around LSU? You know how all this changes? You do it as a fan base. You make an uproar about the media not reporting facts. Facts are not your beliefs. Facts aren't one person's testimony. All right. We still got basketball to get into, and Kim Mulkey going irate. Yeah. Clyde says, interesting. It comes out just before the first big recruiting weekend. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Richard says, Blake, I think someone is complaining to Facebook on purpose, trying to cause you problems. Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe so. I don't know that. But, guys, I mean, our biggest platform from a viewing standpoint is Facebook. Everybody, please just go over to YouTube, subscribe, and please just let's do that so we don't have to worry about it. Please, I beg of you. Because everything I do, it just seems like, it just seems as if, Craig Shilling says, I agree. I never agree with anything Glenn says, but he will debate his opinions. And look, talking about Glenn Guilbeau, I respect a man that if he disagrees with somebody or me, he will come out and he will talk about it. We do not have to agree. That's the great thing about this country. We do not have to agree. One side can have one opinion based off of the facts that they believe, the other the same. I give Glenn a lot of respect there. Seriously, I do. Rob Boudreaux says, all the other coaches are gone now. She went after the one that was there when her claims first came out, and he is back now. That's what it feels like. I mean, I go over to Twitter, and I look at I type in Sharon Lewis, and she's been in some of these Twitter spaces too. And her name on Twitter is LSU Boss Lady. At LSU Boss Lady. Might want to change that Twitter handle. Chris says it's no longer innocent until proven guilty. Today's society, it's guilty until you're proven of your innocence. Yeah, and it's, guys, it's just it's just not right. It legitimately isn't right. That alone, I mean, I just I don't get it. And Dwayne says facts. Most media has never been a friend of any common man. Well, I want the same amount of reporting and publicity of LSU, of if these cases being dropped, of when they're accused. That's what I want. I want the same amount of effort. At least that's just me. All right. LSU came out with a pretty strong statement. Like, look, here's what I also think too. I also wonder what LSU's prepared to do. Meaning, the last time that this, like, example, like the Gloria Scott thing, they come out with them being extorted. And here's another thing, and I'm not sticking up for Miriam Seeger and Verge Alsbury here. I am not at all. Huh. So wild. So wild. Sorry, I was Carter the Bryant texted me. I'm gonna see if Carter wants to come. Nah, no. We'll get Carter back on another day. What were we talking about? But everybody, I'm not sticking up for Miriam Seeger and Verge Alsbury, like legitimately not. I think that they did some things that are complicit or complicit in some of the things that they've done. But here's another thing too. The more that people say that Miriam Seeger and Verge Alsbury knew about these things, and the more that LSU comes out with facts, so to speak, meaning like, hey, this is what really happened. Like the whole Gloria Scott thing. Gloria Scott said Miriam Seeger and Verge Alsbury tried to do X, Y, and Z, and then they released an audio tape of Verge Alsbury and Miriam Seeger talking about like, hey, are you? And Miriam asked, like, hey, are you trying to extort us? Be careful what you read. All right, let's get to some basketball too. Come on, man. All right, got to talk about my good friends over at NordVPN. Guys, what's more important than a peace of mind? Absolutely nothing, and that is what NordVPN is here to do, to give you a peace of mind for while you're online. And with all of the threats that we face today on the internet, the most important thing to ever use is NordVPN and a great VPN service. Plus, you can use NordVPN not just on one of your computers, but all of your computers and devices, no matter the operating system. With Nord's VPN unlimited bandwidth, you never have to worry about slow internet connection, and plans start at under $4 per month. So grab the exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/believe or use the code BLEAV, believe, BLEAV, to get 70% off your first NordVPN plan, plus one additional month for free. It's also risk-free with Nord's VPN 30-day money-back guaranteed. Again, that's NordVPN. NordVPN. And our good friends over at Restore Atlas and Roofing and Exteriors, 225-244-9396. 225-224-9396. Veteran-owned, 5-star rated insurance claims. They do it all. Go to restoreatlas.com. And my good friend Carol Foss over at State Farm, 985-395-4300. 985-395-4300. The best rates on auto, homes, and life insurances. Carol will be there for you the entire step and the entire way. Again, give him a call today. He did power our $300 gift card giveaway for YouTube. Again, 985-395-4300. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Yeah, people saying on Facebook it's not available to them. I don't know. I don't know. Tony says, or that boy doe, Tony Weaver says, I have the perfect name for Sharon Lewis, at Red Beans, Rico Lady, hashtag Inside Joke. Oh man, that's good. It's good. It's good, Tony. It's good. All right, LSU basketball goes up against Alabama today. Fire inside your questions, thoughts. What are you looking forward to with LSU basketball today? I mean, look, they're starting in about an hour and 15 minutes. LSU tips it off with Alabama at 11. Look, very tough loss. Extremely tough loss to Arkansas on Wednesday. Look, I think the number one thing, and I tweeted this a lot during the Arkansas game, LSU's got to finish. They got to learn to finish. I don't really know. There's parts of me, too, that wants to say that last year's team with Will Wade was undisciplined, and so is this team. Guys, the amount of fouls that LSU is committing, like, That's just a discipline thing. It 1,000% is a discipline thing. They got to clean that up. They're going to have to clean that up. Because then you have situations where guys, your best scorer in Tari Eason goes out of the game. I don't know what to think about today. And look, Alabama is just as inconsistent and hot and cold as LSU is. Hot and cold. So for whatever it's worth, I think that this game is kind of a toss-up. Because you don't know what Alabama team you're going to get, and quite honestly, you don't know what LSU team you're going to get. LSU was only up 6 at half against Missouri. LSU was leading at times against Kentucky and Arkansas. They completely play to their competition. Completely. They have the talent to go up against the number 6 team in the country and another top 15, 10, or 12 team in the country in Arkansas. And then they lose to teams like South Carolina, to Alabama, to Vanderbilt. They completely play up and down in their competition. And for whatever it's worth, I thought that Will Wade had a fantastic game plan against Arkansas. We talked about that. Fantastic game plan for Will Wade against Arkansas. He's going to have to do it again today, and it would be a massive win for Will Wade today. He's never beaten Nate Oats while he's been in Alabama. Nate Oats is the head coach at Alabama, if you're unaware. Would be a massive win for him to get over that hump. And then you go into the SEC tournament, and guys, I have to be honest here. I do not feel comfortable about this LSU team. I could literally see if they lose today and they lose in the first game of the SEC tournament, I could see them being on the outside looking in. Just because they got to 10 wins or 20 wins doesn't give me a lot of confidence at all. So they have the talent. I don't think that you can compete and be there with teams like Kentucky and Arkansas and that you don't have the talent. They are undisciplined. They are not. I don't want to say that they're not focused. I also do question some of their leadership. Now, here's another thing from a game plan standpoint. I want to see Xavier Pinson stop shooting the ball so much. Guys, Xavier Pinson over the last 5 games is a 26% shooter from the field, 14% shooter from behind the 3-point line. He's going to have to try to facilitate it more and get his teammates buckets. If he wants to drive to the hole and guy's a good shot, shoot it. Because he's 14% from behind the 3-point line. Since his injury, he's not shooting 30%. Now, Blaine brings up a good question here. He says, do you think that the aggressiveness on defense, which I like, is a part of what creates the inconsistency and puts players in foul trouble? Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. And Craig kind of says the same thing. He says LSU's defensive mindset to be aggressive on defense, so it translates to more fouls with them. They are a bull in a china shop, and I agree with that. But I also I don't mind that. But here's what I mean, and probably should go to a little bit more detail. It's the petty fouls for me, right? Like the ball gets stolen for Tari Eason and he grabs somebody. Like, buddy, you got 3 fouls already. You can't afford to get your 4th. You're up by 8. Like, don't you the game's not going to be won or lost because you foul that guy right there. Like, give up the bucket. Concede it if you have to, but we need you. I do agree, though, with you guys there in Blaine and Craig. They are a very aggressive team, but it's when I mean undisciplined, I think it's just those petty ticky-tack fouls that either, number one, they're getting called for, or number two, that they're getting called against, right? Like, but and so, like, we could blame the refs on that part, and I'm willing to entertain that argument and thought process. But guys, this has been going on all year. Like, this isn't something new. At some point, you're going to have to adjust to know that when you touch somebody or you get in their general vicinity, there's a strong chance you get a foul called on you. It does make LSU. It does make what LSU is a good, or it does make LSU a good defensive team because they are like that. But man, it's just those ticky tack things. Ticky tack things. Blaine also says we shoot a lot of threes and bad shots when we get the lead. A lot of bad shots. I don't mind, and to be honest, I don't mind the Wilkinson shot in the corner. I mean, from a percentage standpoint, he's our best three-point shooter. Two, since we're speaking on basketball, did y'all watch Kim Mulkey go absolutely irate last night? She went balls to the wall last night on the no call. Just, dude, this Facebook thing is so wild. It's so freaking wild. I don't even get it anymore. Chris says, what time's the baseball game? It's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock is a baseball game. Kim Elam says, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you have no discipline, you won't succeed. I agree. James Washington says, terrible no call also. It's a terrible no call. Terrible no call. And Kim has every right in the world to have lost her absolute mind. Every right. So, all right, guys, we'll get on out of here. Stop reporting us on Facebook. Stop. Go build your own platform and go build your own business. Leave me alone. All right, we'll see y'all tonight. LSU game tips off in about an hour. I'm sure we'll be talking about that. All right, guys. Peace out, Girl Scouts. We'll see y'all later.